Paragraph 3. Before we proceed further, it is important to note that even if one of our predictor variables is found, when controlling for the others, to have no independent impact on policy at all, it does not follow that the actors whose preferences are reflected by that variable, average citizens, economic elites, or organized interest groups of one sort or another, always lose in policy decisions. Right away, let's take a look at the subject. The subject is some sort of prediction of the behavior of average citizens, economic elites, and organized interest groups on policy, and I assume that's probably political policy. And next we want to consider what type of essay we're looking at. Most likely this is probably going to be an explanatory essay. Sounds like there's some sort of study in this paragraph, and probably the details of that study will be explained through the paragraph. That said, let's real quick look at our pronouns, repeats, and transition words while we read the entire paragraph. This bivariate correlation affects how we should interpret our later multivariate findings in terms of winners and losers. Not sure what that pronoun refers to. We see the idea of win or lose again from the first sentence. Rather often, again, that usually follows something else that happened, to say that this time it happens often. Average citizens and affluent citizens, our proxy for economic elites, want the same things from government. So again, we're seeing the repeat of average citizens and affluent citizens or economic elites. It turns out, in fact, that the preferences of average citizens, again, repeat there, I'm not sure what that pronoun is referring to yet, are positively and fairly highly correlated across issues with preferences of economic elites. Policymaking is not necessarily a zero-sum game among these actors. Again, actors is identified in the intro sentence, and that refers to the citizens, the economic elites, and the interest groups. So when one set of actors wins, others may win as well if their preferences are positively correlated with each other. Again, that really follows quite directly from the original sentence, and my guess is that's probably the first follow-on sentence, and looks like a strong fit to me. Not sure what that is referring to yet, also suggests a reason why serious scholars might keep adhering to both the majoritarian electoral democracy and the economic elite domination theoretical traditions, even if one of them may be dead wrong in terms of causal impact. Right away, I'm going to look at sentence S as the first follow-on. The intro sentence tells us that when the actors have different preferences, they don't always have to have a loser. And S says policymaking is not necessarily a zero-sum game, which they define as actors can win and win if their preferences are positively correlated. And we saw that idea of affluent citizens and average citizens in R and Q as well. So clearly R, Q, and S look like connected sentences or one block to me as well that sit right probably up at the front of the paragraph, beginning with S. R says rather often average citizens and affluent citizens want the same things. Q, it turns out, in fact, that the preferences of average citizens are positively and fairly highly correlated. So again, the idea of correlation, particularly a high or positive correlation, follows immediately from the end of S into Q. So that looks like a better fit to me across all issues with preferences of economic elites. And then R perhaps follows that. It really almost says the same thing. Rather often, average citizens and affluent citizens, economic elites that is, want the same things from government. And really, in layman's terms, them wanting the same things is essentially saying they have positively or highly correlated preferences. So I think that's sort of a layman's additional detail that R provides to Q. So it looks like SQR is a clear block at the beginning of the paragraph, and then the next question becomes which follows U or T and which ends the paragraph. And the choices are: this bivariate correlation affects how we should interpret our later findings, Or T, it also suggests a reason why serious scholars might keep adhering to one of two different theories, even if they could be wrong. Well, that last one sounds more like a summation or a lesson to be learned, which typically would come at the end of an explanatory paragraph. And U refers to this bivariate correlation, I assume refers to the correlation that preceded in R, Q, and S, talking about the relationship of average citizens and affluent citizens who all often want the same things or have preferences that are highly correlated. So that is what this bivariate correlation refers to, and U looks to be a good follow-on sentence to that block, and T wraps it up with the conclusion or summary lesson to be learned. So I like the ordering of the paragraph. I'm fairly confident it is S, Q, R, U, T.